Try to see it my way. Do I have to keep on talking till I can go on? While you see it your way, run the risk of knowing that our love may soon be gone.
I'm not going to turn my camera up. I'm not going to turn the light on. And if you don't like the fact that I'm sitting here in a dark room, leave, okay? If you don't like the fact that I pause in my speaking, leave. Don't watch me, okay? Here's the door. If you don't like the fact that I say leave, okay? When I have two good, close friends on my subscriber list. And they like to hear me talk. We enjoy speaking with each other as human beings. I'm not just a film to them, okay? I'm not just the Nalora show. I used to bitch about that with these two close friends, because there's a lot of people on the internet who also enjoyed me speak, and they would want me to speak for them at their convenience. They would want to switch me on and listen to me, and then switch me off. In other words, they were just like many, 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 many children on the internet who are bored and wanted me to entertain them, tap dance on the table for them. I was speaking with my good friend Newt last night on the telephone. Ooh! And told him, well, now you have your Nalora channel. And we laughed, because I bitch so often about that. You know, people that bitch all the time about little irritating things about other people, you know, especially on YouTube, you know, they keep a lot of people from coming out and speaking their minds. These are the types of people who quash free thought. They put up brick walls in communication, brick by brick by brick, and they eliminate a whole group of people. A whole demographic is eliminated from discourse because they are afraid to speak, because other people will criticize them the moment they open their mouth. For some minor little, you know, yeah, it irritates me, you know, that people use your instead of your. But do I stop them from communicating with me because for some odd reason this didn't click into their freaking brain back in grade school? No, because it's not that big a deal. I'd rather hear I'd rather hear their idea, you know. And then, maybe, you know, if the fact that they couldn't get your straight is truly an indicator of their intelligence level, although I try to gather a little bit more data, you know, before I make a decision that you're, you know, a bloomin' idiot. I try to make assessments with as much data as possible, especially when I'm making an assessment of another human being on the planet who may actually have worth. You know, I don't judge them by, he doesn't look at the camera. I don't judge them by whether or not they have the right video equipment or editing skills or any of that. or whether they use the right program, or whether I'm better than they are. Yeah. I hate elitist mentalities, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, I'm very inclusive. I'm a very inclusive person. I like to get everybody in the room and not say, oh, you can't come in because you're not dressed properly for this occasion. One time I went to a restaurant, back in my hippy-dippy days, you know. Went to a restaurant, and because I was a hippy-dippy, I didn't have shoes on, you know. And so they wanted to send me away. And they did send me away. So I went outside, and I had some leather thongs. Not thong like the thing, you know, that most people wear for underwear now. But I had these in my pocket for tying things up. Little tiny thin straps, okay. And I tied I hooked them around my big toe and then tied them around the back of my ankle. So it would look like a pair of shoes. Didn't have any sole. Just looked like the top of a shoe, you know, a sandal. And I went in. They didn't say a word. Wasn't any different. I just had a little string on my foot. They didn't say a word. But it was enough, you know, for their convenience. You know, quit building barriers with your expectations of other people in this medium. You know, not everybody's a bloomin' movie maker, short film person, you know. Not everybody is that. And it's not, and YouTube should not be delegated to that box. Not everybody wants to be popular. Not everybody wants to be in the top 10 list. Not everybody even wants to be noticed. You know, some people are just on here sharing film with family. What a thought! Some people have other different styles than you. Not everybody wants to be in black and white, you know, with quick cut editing. Not everybody wants that. You know? It's like saying everybody's got to be, you know, that's a canned thing. You know what I mean? That's a canned idea. It's like, you know, going into your little file and saying, well, what kind of ideas have we got already, you know? Let's just rehash one. Lord. And I'm actually going to pause to have a drink of my coffee. You know why? Because those two friends on my subscription list, which was basically the reason that I started, you know, speaking. Actually, I'll tell you, I started speaking because of Newt. Because Newt got a new job, and we weren't able to speak as often because he's real busy, and he missed me, and I missed him, and I feel like I'm still sitting next to him, talking to him, because we used to do that a lot. We used to just sit and talk. And guess what? When we sit and talk, I don't edit. It's live from New York. I light cigarettes. I drink my coffee. And that's it. So if you don't like the way I talk, leave.